And it is Cigar. Cigar coming to mid-stretch with a 5-length lead. Devil is Due second, American Chance, and then Punchline on the far outside. They're coming down to the final 16th, and Cigar running a monstrous race today to win the Naira Mile. And he did it decisively.
Jerry Bailey just looked back. He should have a huge smile on his face because Cigar is striding through the stretch, moving like a winner. Tinner's Way now coming with a late run at him on the outside, but Cigar is all class, and Cigar wins the Hollywood Gold Cup.
But Cigar goes for home, a quarter of a mile to go, and Cigar has it. But here comes Soul of the Matter on the outside, and Soul of the Matter come to press for Cigar. America 1 and 2. Time back in third. They've got a furlong to go. It's a duel to the line. The Soul of the Man on the outside of Cigar. And Cigar is digging deep. He's never had to fight harder. He's coming back. It's going to be Cigar. It's going to take him up the line. Cigar by 3 parts on it. 14 out of 14 for Cigar.
Cigar comes to the 8th pole, taking over by a half length. Dramatic Gold is running a mighty race on the inside, but Cigar seems to have his measure. He's starting to stretch away now. Cigar is an unstoppable dynamo. The crowd rises to a champion. 16 in succession as Cigar assumes the crown of immortality.
And Cigar begins to roll, and he's opening up with authority, leaving Star Stander behind, and a weakening Schosberg. Jerry Bailey peeks back. Cigar, no competition today. He toyed with them this afternoon, and he glides gracefully under the line with plenty left. Cigar dominating by 3 lengths.
Welcome back to the Starting 8, everybody, and welcome to the studio. Tom Cassidy alongside the Sarge, Nick Hines, and Brittany Urton. We are coming up on some more live racing action. Delaware Park at post time for race number 3. That race is going to go on tape. Get that to you as quickly as we can. And we are 6 minutes away from race number 4 at Belmont Park. But as you know, we lost a 2-time Horse of the Year, a champion, of course, that being Cigar. And joining us on the line is Kathy Hopkins, Director of Equine Operations for the Kentucky Horse Park, where Cigar spent his retired years in the Hall of Champions after, of course, his tremendous success on the racetrack. Kathy, we want to say, first and foremost, our condolences. Thank you for joining us in this difficult time.
Well, you're welcome. And, of course, this is just a huge loss to all his fans and the whole racing community. I mean, he was an icon. There's not much more you can say about him. He was just a wonderful, wonderful personality, a wonderful racehorse, and just magnificent. We're all going to miss him.
Kathy, I have a quick question for you. We all know the type of racehorse he was and what a champion he was, but when you got him on the farm and in his retired days, what was his demeanor like? What was his personality like? Because not many of us know much about him after he was retired from racing.
He was still the man, very much just a magnificent specimen, just a very proud and noble individual. Even at 24, he was muscled and dappled and just looked way younger than his years. And because he was in such magnificent physical shape, except for the horrible osteoarthritis at his cervical disc, that's one of the major decisions in the team of going forward with the difficult surgery, because he was in very, very good physical shape, just still full of himself, very much in command.
Kathy, Nick Hines here, and again, my condolences to you. And I know how difficult it can be, having worked around a horse for a very long time, and even Brittany earlier this year with her very own Dance with Fate. In a scenario whereas you have a horse like Cigar, because I know there are some horses that aren't necessarily people horses. Would you deem him as a people-oriented horse, and that he loved people maybe potentially more than other horses? Could you answer that?
Well, I think Cigar had such a presence. I wouldn't say that he was definitely not a cuddly people horse, but he knew he was a champion. He still had the presence of a champion, and had a very good relationship with his handlers, especially Wes Lanner, who is the manager of our Hall of Champions, and a mutual respect for the consummate professional that Wes is and that Cigar was.
He was not only a fan favorite on the racetrack. Of course, every time he ran, it was so exciting, and how he always brought his top effort to the racetrack. But I also understand he was also a fan favorite, and a lot of visitors there to the Kentucky Horse Park were certainly asking about him and asking to see him.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. He was the star of the park, and he certainly, lived up to his name, and even till the last few weeks would show off in his paddock, and he had a special corner. They loved to come out of a stall and go racing up and strike in the air and rear up and announce his presence, and that. In that corner along that tree-lined lane is where he'll be laid to rest beside the great Alley Sheba.
And Kathy, before we say thank you and goodbye, we also we understand that the press release had to wait a little while before coming out, before being released just after noon Eastern time today.
Right. It's hard for us because we are a state-run facility, so. Although we had everything written and certainly wanted to get all the information out, the wonderful efforts of Haggard, Davis, and McGee, and Dr. Laura Warner, and Dr. Reed, who is just phenomenal, and Dr. Woody. We wanted to get information to his fans as quickly as possible, but we are a state agency, and unfortunately our governor was in Germany, and we're not allowed to release anything officially until we get authorization from our governor's office. So that held us up a little bit, but we were trying to make some phone calls to those that were so close to him, to, of course, Jerry Bailey, who loved him dearly and was able to spend time with him on Saturday, and his trainer, Mr. Mott, and of course the Ponds at Country Life Farm. We wanted to reach out to them as quickly as possible. But now thank goodness we're able to get all the information out there, and the correct information out to all of his fans and to the world.
And Kathy, when more information becomes available on the public memorial service that will be held for Cigar, where can we get that information when it becomes available?
We will be sending out a press release.
Okay.
We're trying to look at dates today and see when all the significant players will be available, and it'll be on the website, but we will be sending out multiple press releases, and I'm sure all the equine publications will be picking up on that, and everyone will be notified.
Kathy, once again, we want to say our condolences and thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you, and he was our friend, and he was just a wonderful, wonderful horse.
Kathy, thank you very much. Kathy Hopkins, Director of Equine Operations for the Kentucky Horse Park. A friend, a champion, and a wonderful horse lost in the racing world.
Yeah, again, you could hear it in Kathy's voice. Her, along with Wes Lantern, were beside this fallen champion, and it was interesting. Dr. Rocky Mason, who works with Haggard out there in Kentucky, it deemed the late champion as regal, classy, and a determined patient. And not only do we see that on display out there on the racetrack, but even in retirement, he was a determined individual. And Mr. Paulson, Alan Paulson, the late great Alan Paulson, up in the sky, he is now joined with his champion, and in that regard, it's a wonderful thing. It was the right horse for the right owner at a time in which horse racing desperately needed a champion like Cigar.
A big thank you to Kathy for joining us in a difficult time. And Kentucky Horse Park is known as the place to get close to horses, and many were lucky enough to do so right there at the Kentucky Horse Park.